All right, here we are, day 27. We have just left the station, 19E. And we're doing the little half mile or so road walk down to the trail. It's downhill. We did it uphill yesterday to get back to the station. So we're gonna go back downhill, a little extra miles today. We could have got a ride, but it's a memorial for a couple guys. So that's what we're doing. So since our video yesterday, we were eating dinner at the station last night, and I had a Facebook message from a hiker that I don't know her personally, but we've kind of connected just due to mutual hiking friends. And she lives close by, and she has offered to pretty much slack pack us to Boots Off over the next couple days. So it's 30 miles to Boots Off from here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hike, we're slack packing right now, 10 miles to Walnut Mountain Road. She will pick us up there at about 2 o'clock today, and then swing us by the station, get the rest of our stuff, take us back to her house, laundry, help us resupply, all that stuff. And then tomorrow she will let us do a 20-mile slack pack to Boots Off, same kind of thing. So that's really sweet of her. Her name's Sarah, to do that. She was hiking on the PCT, I think, earlier this month, and she lives in the area, so she offered to do that. So we're going to take her up on it. This way, if there's any blowdowns or anything like that, we have to go around. We got the lighter packs. We're not going to have big bulky packs that get all stuck and everything, so that'll help. Plus, it'll help us cover those. We were going to do those 30 miles anyway. We were going to do like 19 today to a shelter, and then 11 tomorrow. And we're just kind of reversing that in a way, just doing 10 and 20. But there'll be slack pack, which is similar to what I did 7 years ago. So that's cool. So that'll put us at Boots Off Saturday, not late Saturday, but late afternoon. And then Sunday, we'll probably do the 21-mile slack pack that Boots Off offers on Sunday. It's going to be rain, so good time to do a slack pack and go back to the hostel on Sunday. And then Monday, we'll head out from Boots Off, and it's about 20 miles to Damascus. So over the today's Friday, Saturday, 4 days, we should be able to cover it's like 70 miles and get to Virginia. So that's the plan. All right, we'll update you as the day goes along. Right, here we are at top of that first big climb. So today we had that first big climb, which was a couple miles or so. And then at the end, the last 4 miles or so are kind of like a slight incline for like 4 miles, maybe 800 to 1,000 feet of climbing over like 4 miles. So it's not much of an incline. Other than that, there's a couple little nipples we have to climb, short little steep things, like real short steep. That just take a few minutes. The rest of it is some downs and flatishes. We will hit 2 waterfalls today, Jones and Mountaineer waterfalls, so that's cool. They're not huge ones, but they're nice little waterfalls. Tomorrow we will hit the big one, Laurel Fork Falls. That's a pretty big waterfalls. And should be a nice day tomorrow. It'll be Saturday, so I'm sure there'll be a bunch of tourists and stuff there. So this is what we got. Some blowdowns coming up. I'll probably take a picture of these and send them to Steve at Unicorn Shuttles. He's a volunteer with the Forest Service, and he asked me to send them some updates on blowdowns so they know what they got left to do. So I've been sending, since yesterday, updates to the Forest Service, letting them know what they've got. All right. There you can see this is at the top of the climb after you come out of Station 19. About mile marker 398.2. You can see where, here in the, at this peak, kind of got hammered with the hurricane. But they've done a pretty good job. I believe this is one of the wilderness areas. So if you notice, they cannot use chainsaws. In the wilderness areas, or what's been designated as wilderness areas, they're supposed to use just regular hand saws or crosscut saws. So this stuff, in the time it takes to do one tree with a manual saw, they could probably do like 10 trees with a chainsaw. So it's that's why some of this has been slow going, because they're designated wilderness areas, and they're still cleaning up between here and like right after Boots Off. There's still some stuff they've got to clean up. So it's going to take a little bit to get that all done. I think another few more weeks. But you can still climb over them. There's nothing so far too bad. Just coming out of that little blowdown section. They've done a lot of work in there. There's still some trees you have to kind of duck under or step over. But it's very hikeable. It's nothing that you have to bushwhack through. And this is Isaac's Cemetery. It's a cool little cemetery here, right next to the trail. So hopefully we're out of that little blowdown section, and hopefully we'll have some clear trail for a bit. Now that we're coming down off the high point of that peak that got hammered. We'll see. But yep, Isaac's Cemetery, everybody. Walk right next to it. So I do want to address a question that a subscriber had. While we're doing this, I can address that. They asked me my opinion on like people that hike the trail, people that do like, I'm assuming like trail runner types that do fastest known times type stuff, and then also people that take longer, people that take shorter. Do you really fully see the trail if you're going too fast or doing too many miles, stuff like that? And stickers. My basic opinion is, when Bent Mackay created this trail, it was supposed to be for people to get away from the cities, to kind of reunite with nature, right? Just get away from the daily grind of the city. I don't know if he really foresaw people through hiking the trail, like hiking from one end to the other. It was more, down the East Coast, where people from all over the East Coast could just come out and, enjoy nature. So, that being said, I think it really doesn't matter how people enjoy the trail. Whether they decide to through hike it, section hike it, day hike, come out, walk 2 miles and sit at a view for the rest of the day, or whatever, or run it. If I was a avid runner, which I'm not, I think it'd be kind of cool to run through the woods and see something other than streets and pavement. So my deal is kind of hike your own hike, like the old adage says, and the trail experience is different for everybody. So my experience is going to be different than yours. but it doesn't mean my experience is better than yours because I did things a certain way, or because you didn't do them the way I thought you should do them. So when you look at somebody like Tara Dower, who just set the fastest known time on the AT, you know, some people were giving her crap, saying, well, it was supported and all that stuff. Let me tell you, it's hard enough to walk the AT for 2,200 miles, let alone run the damn thing and do 53 or whatever miles a day for 40 days. So props to her. Did she get to enjoy stuff? Well, I don't think she was out there for her sightseeing trip. You know, she had already previously through hiked the AT. I'm sure she enjoyed it then. You know, she was just doing something to challenge herself. So some people, they go fast, they do it for the challenge, not necessarily for all the nature stuff. That doesn't make their hike any worse than somebody that's out there just to enjoy the nature part of it, right? So, you know, my attitude is to each his own. Do whatever you want. I don't care. You know, I don't think it's any worse to go fast. Like, I could walk at 3 miles an hour or 2 miles an hour. All right, I'm seeing no less views at 3 miles an hour than I am 2 miles an hour. You know, because I can stop and stay out of view as long as I want. How long should you stay out of view? Should it be 30 seconds or 30 minutes? You know, we could get into a debate. And the answer is there is no time limit. It's whatever you want, whatever you look to gain out of the hike. So, anyway, that's my opinion on that. You know, I don't have any ill feelings towards anybody and how they do their hike. You know, and even if they change how they want to do their hike while they're doing it. You know, some people think I want to do it this way. I want to be a purist and I never want to slack pack. Then they get out here and they're like, oh, this is hard. I think I'll slack pack, or I think I'll do this, or take this blue blaze or whatever. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Do whatever you want. It's your hike. So that's my soapbox for the day. My Scoutmaster Minute, or Deep Thoughts. So I hope that answers the question. If you have more specific questions, you could float them in the comments and I'll try to answer them when I'm doing these little walking rants. All right, we'll catch you when we get to some waterfalls. All right, here we are at Jones Falls. As you can see, the falls are right over there. However, the side trail is not maintained. They haven't been able to get to it, so they're focusing on the main trail. You can see all the damage, so we won't be able to go to the falls, but we can still see it, just not from close up. So we just took a little 5-minute snack break here. We're got 5.1 to do. Maybe we'll be able to see Mountaineer Falls. So that's the plan. You see, this area was affected by the hurricane and all the stuff that was washed up through here. We just passed a little kid's shoe and a little kid's like pink horsey. See all the debris. This used to be like a pretty cool area coming through here. I remember from 7 years ago. It's just kind of destroyed, and there's just remnants of people's possessions and stuff that were, I'm assuming, just washed away. Probably with their homes. And we're hiking a little bit with a guy named Tie-Dyed. He's through hiking. He also helps maintain this area. He was telling us there's still a lady missing. They never found. And his greatest fear is they're going to be doing some trail maintenance eventually. More trail maintenance, and they'll find her. You can see. Yeah. All right, here we are at Mountaineer Falls. We're taking a quick lunch break here. We've got 1.8 to go to the road where we're going to meet Sarah. And it's 1:08 right now. We got to meet her at 2, so head out here in about 7 minutes. That should get us there right on time. That's northbound that way. So that's what we got. Here we are. Got less than a quarter mile to go to get to the road where Sarah will meet us and take us back to Station 19 to grab our stuff, and then on to her house where we'll spend the night, and then she'll take us back out here tomorrow so we can slack pack the 20-ish miles, the boots off. So that should do it for day 27, about 10.5 miles. Past the 400 mile mark today, and we'll end up right at mile 406. 406. All right.